Hello and welcome to another game review video. Last week I get this message containing a Steam key with a request to review it, and me always looking for more indie games to put into the no matter how small spotlight my reviews offer, decided to give this one a go. Arcane Domains is a third-person beat-em-up mage simulator, with its most touted feature being that all the spells are available from the start of the game, which I actually found quite interesting, but of course was concerned about the overall progression system. If all you can do is just choose the spells you use at the start of a level, and there are only few upgrades that are unlocked through side goals in every mission. Those side goals are basically one and the same collectible but reskinned. Save a capture wizard or find a treasure box. They do seem different in theory, but in practice, you just go up to them and the player character rings his hands and voila, objective complete. But it's something to do besides just killing few different types of lizardmen and running to the end flag, which is the main objective of every level. The difficulty ramps up quite a bit quite fast, and the ability upgrades coming slowly did throw me off a bit, and I have to confess that I died a few times even at the third level. However, I did find my favorite overpowered spell, and everything became quite simple afterwards. And then I noticed how empty the levels actually are. At first glance, it does seem like it's an open world game, or at least that the maps are of a decent size. But just walking a bit to the side and hitting the, well, not so invisible wall does show how linear and straightforward the game path actually is. Which I don't mind honestly, since all beat-em-up games are linear. But seeing this huge map and then not being able to run around it was a bit disappointing. And one thing that I'd love to be changed is the wall the character hits when trying to go out of bounds. It's a bit sloppy and made to look like a placeholder at the moment. It would have been much better if it was either trees or mountains, just so it's a bit more immersive. Another thing that I'd love to be changed is the health system. The main character is more fragile than the Assassin's Creed fanbase. All it takes to die is 4 or 5 hits from even the weakest monsters. I understand that the main character is a mage and that he can't take much punishment, but with some maps spawning more than 5 enemies at the same time out of nowhere, it does get a bit annoying, with there being no mid-level checkpoints. So every time that happened, I had to restart the whole level again. But as I mentioned before, I found out that summoned creatures don't despawn at all, so my tactic was just to summon as many minions and let them do all the fighting, which was actually quite a lot of fun. Oh, and one more thing that I want to mention is that the enemy models do get a bit samey and boring after a while, but every now and then there will be a new enemy with a different skill set to just keep it interesting. And one more thing that I found actually quite interesting is that the game has a split screen mode, which I sadly wasn't able to test out since you need one of those, what do people call them? Oh yeah, friends. So sadly that mode, even though a good addition, was out of my reach. So to wrap this all up, Arcane Domains is obviously a game that needs more work, but considering that it was only made by one person does excuse some of its flaws. And looking at its Steam page makes me optimistic when I see that the game is being updated on a regular basis. And I'm sure it will be a fun short time game for at least few people. If you made it this far into the video, I'd ask you to leave a like if you liked it and subscribe to see more of these, or share so more people can see it. And as always, goodbye and thanks for watching.